Welcome to Bragging Rights, episode 18, season 3, sponsored by Comscaf, housed at Tribal. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hype like and subscribe wherever you are, but hype on YouTube. Save up all 3 of your hypes every week for us, please. That'd be really nice. How is everyone?
Cranky.
We're not going to ask Dean today.
You can
I've
see
had
it
the
in his
most
face.
up and down, emotionally, just weird weekend.
Okay, well, ask Dean. Tell us about the ups. Let's start with Friday. How was Friday?
It's more of a whoops, wasn't it?
Friday was a whoops.
Friday was what we expected Friday would be.
Saturday,
Very good but tiring day.
very good but tiring day. And Sunday?
Really good.
Okay.
Shit, then really good.
So really good because?
Played football.
Okay.
We won.
Bit of
Scored
soccer
a couple
ball.
of goals, yeah.
Yeah. This is Dean with a bad back that said, I'm not going to play.
No,
I'm not going
it
to
was
play.
my last game, so I'm going to play it out.
So 90 minutes of football, 2 goals, 2 assists, nearly got an hat-trick. Then what happened, Dean?
Everton. Shit.
Everton is shit.
Yeah.
And because Everton is shit, West Ham got relegated.
Yeah, that's that.
Did you wave on the way past?
Everyone keeps messaging me going, oh, I can't believe it. It's shit, innit, that you can't go watch City against West Ham in the Premier League. I'm like, not really.
I'm a little bit gutted, to be fair.
Our club West Ham is a mess. Don't want none of your sad comments here because you'll say, I'm just like your rugby team. But
relegation can be a good thing. Look
exactly, that's what I'm thinking. Get rid of the dead wood in the team.
Let Lona's Bowen for the year.
No, and then rebuild and come back up stronger. And we'll pass Hull City this time next year on the way.
No, you won't. We'll be in Europe this time next year.
That's a big show.
How's Josh?
Grand.
Just grand.
Yeah, well, West Ham lost and it pleased me, so. You know how much I'm into my football.
West
I really
Ham
care.
won. That's the worst bit. They won 3-0.
Oh, yeah, they won on the field. They beat Leeds 3-0, yeah, but morally it was a
they won the battle but lost the war, didn't they?
Well, they had all season to do better than that.
Exactly.
Can't leave it down to last thing. Mm-hmm. I think it was a grand weekend and overall great because obviously Rovers won on the Thursday, that was good. Friday, you got exactly what you expected to get. Richie Marler also, in my opinion, made a fool of himself on TV. Then you got City winning, which is great for the City. Hull City going up, fantastic news. Sunday, it's quite chill. The only real downside is, and you can't complain when we get this weather, it's gorgeous, but it is just killing us. So there's not really much to be mad about in the last few days, is there?
It's that hot that we've arranged to have a water break about halfway through this podcast because there's that much on here. I mean, like a toilet break, not a water break, because there's so much liquid available to us right now. I don't like it. I'll put my hands up and say it. Like I don't
hate it.
Yeah, I don't care what people say about. Oh yeah, but in it good, in it great. Like the hot weather. No, I hate hot weather. There's a reason I lived in Canada.
You say that, but you lived in Toronto, which in the summer is very warm.
Yeah, but everywhere's got aircon.
It's valid. But we have aircon here.
We do. Anyway, you guys can start.
Yeah, don't ask me. It's fine.
What? I asked you. You were the
said
first
cranky.
one I went to, and you said cranky.
I didn't get any in depth with it. No, it don't matter about me. No, I'm not joking. I don't really care.
It doesn't really matter about you, does it?
It can't be that hot though, can it? Because Craig's coming as push iron. So.
Yeah.
Only because you're bidding me off to go that way. He didn't even message me.
Oh yeah,
You
he's
didn't even ask
bigging
me.
you off to pick his wife up
Yeah,
from
exactly.
work. Yeah.
Podcast mates.
Priorities and all that.
Bros before hoes, I say. Sorry, Evie.
She's gonna kill you.
Yeah, she could try. Yeah, and you didn't ask me for a lift, so.
I never do.
No, exactly. So and I've got the nicest car.
You have.
Oh well.
Carry on.
Your loss. Tell us about Thursday. I didn't watch it. What was I doing on Thursday? Why didn't I watch Rovers?
Because you saw it was Wigan's reserve team and thought, stuff that.
I was doing something else, and I thought, oh, shall I watch it on my phone? And I was like, and then I realised the squad, and I was like, no, I'm not going to bother.
But I was on Mikey's hat-trick and then turned it off.
As soon as we went 18-0 up, I turned to the guy next to me and I just went, should we go home?
We had this walking into the ground on Thursday night. Susan said to me, we're real unfairly done by on the predictions pod because we predict so far in advance and don't get to see the teams and everyone else can change them last minute. I said, don't think of it that way. We are just playing against each other. We know it's not right when 5 days before, I'm like, oh, close game but Rovers by 6. and then Wigan put out, year 10 students. It just happens, doesn't it? Yeah. I'll start with some shout-outs if you don't mind, Craig, because I don't want to forget them. Because it was a good week for shout-outs. But the first one was that me and Susan at half-time bumped into the lad that messaged last week saying about how he enjoyed the podcast, because it was like mates talking to each other. So on YouTube he was called like Heave Hua or Heave Hua, but I didn't ask him his real name and I felt bad, so sorry, pal. Do you know when someone you got caught a bit unawares, you got into a mind, I was like, I'm going to go for a wee, I'm going to go to the bar, then it'll be the time for the second half, and he walked up and said who he was, and I just sort of said, all right, how are you doing, pal? And then never said, what's your actual name, because your YouTube name I can't even pronounce. But it was nice to speak to him, and off the back of that, another bloke come up and tapped me and said, I think you're from that podcast. It's good and that. The fellow who did it, I want to say he called Pete. He didn't tell me his name. He doesn't realise I worked with him about 18 years ago. When I was an apprentice, I went to a lot of engineering companies, like around Hull. And I was like 16-year-old and I got loaned out for 3-month periods to these little engineering firms. And I'm sure he worked at one of them.
Oh, the Bill Leyland of the engineering
Yeah, and then in subsequent years he then did loads of work for me when I was managing different teams. But I just don't think he clicked that he actually knew me. Then I also bumped into the T-shirt winner from the start of the season, Danny, who accosted me in Craven Street to say, where's the episode this week?
Oh yes, you did put that in the group chat, didn't you?
But we did do an episode.
Definitely released on Wednesday, definitely released on time, definitely no issues. But he said that he'd had no update and Patreon hadn't told him.
To be fair, I've stopped getting notifications off Patreon.
Look at Patreon, don't look at me. Honestly, like I got that message from in the group chat and I was like, oh crap. Limped upstairs to the laptop to double check I'd done everything right. And I'm like, what's he on about? It's there.
Yeah. But then the final one, just because it did tickle me and hopefully it tickles you. I mentioned the other week about our friend Fuller, one of Freddie's who was on the pod the other week as the guest from winning last year's Predictions League. His best mate, Fuller's lad, Lloyd. Young Lloyd was a mascot on Thursday night. And just before kick-off, he come walking in front of where I stand in the East Stand with a load of the mascots, with a woman who was obviously in charge of corralling them and keeping them in the right place. So I went down to the edge. I said, Lloyd. And he's, what are you doing? Hiya, Josh. I said, come here. And he walked far away. I said, come here and speak to me. And I had a pint in one hand, right? And this woman turned, looked me up and down, and he went, it's my friend, can I go and speak to him? And this woman went, absolutely not. And then Lloyd was like, no, but he's my friend. And she went, no, you can't. And then he just looked back, so I don't know how dodgy I looked, but she wouldn't let the child come to a random man in the East Stand.
Well, I don't like Fuller at the minute.
Why?
Walked straight past me at Wembley Park Station the other day. Like, there was a couple of people between us, but he turned his head, and I swear there's no way in the world he didn't see my face and just carried on. And I'm like,
I'm not
right.
sure you say you don't like him, I think it's pretty evident he doesn't like you.
Well,
he's told me.
It's mutual now, isn't it?
Yeah,
You are an acquired taste.
I am. But because we're on the Rovers section, and I don't want to talk about it in the old section, we bumped into a Rovers fan about an hour, 2 hours ago as well, just near Aldi, where Sutton Fields pub is.
The parade.
For the City Parade. There's a guy, weird, I don't understand why he was wearing an OKR shirt during an old City Parade, but whatever. But he had he was nice enough to come over and shake my hand and tell me how much he likes the pod and he likes the fact that it's, this and that, both ways, Hull and Rovers, and you get both sides of it. So I didn't catch your name, I'm really sorry about that, but yeah, thanks for coming across.
Great. Well, now we can move on to, I'll pass back to you, Craig, to talk about a game in which KR's starting 13, that didn't even have Burgess in the squad, had more appearances for Wigan than the Wigan team did.
You kidding?
No.
That's a superb stat.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do have a shout out. I was walking out the ground, and a guy sort of walking parallel with me, and he goes, "Hi, Craig, you all right?" I went, "Hi, yeah, you." And he was like, "Oh, you don't know who I am, do you?" I was like, "Yeah, you're Ever's dad." So somebody who used to go to school with, he watches the pod with his daughter every week. So shout out to Heather and Richard. Just nice to be noticed, isn't it? Well, not for Dean, because he don't like it. But,
Famous, aren't
well, that's
We
it.
had that
Not
on
according to my
Friday.
lad.
Yeah.
He hates it, doesn't he?
We had that on Friday at our game.
Did you?
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to them. And then randomly I was just stood in the stand and some kid popped his head round in front of me and went, "You on Spotify?" I was like, "Yeah, we're on Spotify." He went, "All right, cheers." And that was it. I was like, "Yeah, cheers, cheers for that." So anyways, on to the game. There's not really much to say, is it, to be honest? Apart, I mean, Josh,
2 minutes left and I think you'll have a minute spare.
well, yeah, exactly. Josh summed it up. Without Burgess, and we still had more appearances for Wigan than what their team
It was embarrassing.
did, so
It's
really
not
was.
just embarrassing, it shouldn't have been allowed.
Yeah, no, the fact they've cleared him, if I was Salford, I would be spitting feathers, because they didn't have a choice last season. They were in the doldrums. They had nothing. They were literally scraping the barrel, and they put out what they could to ensure that the integrity of the competition maintained so that the game went ahead. And then they got fined or whatever they got for it. I'm not 100% sure what it was. I'm sure someone will tell me.
It's not even just that, but I mean, what if it gets to the end of the year and I don't know, you win the league leaders by
Points difference
by 2 points versus Leeds, and you've got 60 odd of them points against
this
the
is my
academy
main point.
of Wigan.
Yeah, the game's so hard to talk about because it is what it is. Us reviewing it just goes over old ground. There ain't a lot to shout, but I was laughing because I've written here it's a bad look for Super League on a Thursday night, and in brackets next to it says "and pregnant." But I can see now it's got nothing to do with that line because I've really thrown myself there. So I will come back to the pregnant comment because it's got nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, I was when I read it. It's a real strange one. Peter's now done this both ways. He's played a full strength team and he's rested it, and now he's done it where he's rested again. He has made comments in the past that he's now gone back on by doing this. We ultimately won't know if he's correct until Saturday comes round, and if they win, it will ultimately be forgotten about, and it'll be he's made the right choice because players didn't get injured, didn't pick up on bans, and didn't get involved at anything that could make them miss the game. If they get run over and Rovers win, it could be they was unprepared. We won't know. I think that for me, it becomes more a question of, yes, what we're doing about the integrity of the sport. Did it bring into doubt the integrity of the sport? Yes, I think it did. Did it break any rules? No, they've inquired into it, they've checked him and said no. So legally, and from whatever point of view, he's okay.
Got a squad for a reason.
But it wasn't nice to watch. I think that ultimately the main point, come back to it, Jim, is what you've just said. I saw Wigan's fans comment online that went bouncy, went, we're gifting them 40, 50, maybe more, this was before the game, maybe more points in the points difference column here. We are 6th, and we are the first team to play this week, and we could find ourselves very quickly dropping out the 6 if we're not careful. And it feels as though we're gambling on the chance to win one trophy, and that is not the Wigan way. No. The Wigan way is not a team that gambles just to win the Challenge Cup.
Certainly not Matty Pete's way, either, from what we've seen in previous seasons. So
I look at it, it's a bit similarly to Josh, but this is the top 2 teams. Maybe not in the league standings this year, but past few years, these are the top 2 teams in our league. Grand finals, Challenge Cup final next week. You've got your casual fans who will look at this fixture and go, oh yeah, they played the grand final last year. You've got NRL fans who'll know these 2 teams played in the grand final. So you've got the neutrals, the casuals, the NRL fans tuning in, and that's what they're watching. They're getting that from our 2 top teams in the league. It's just not a good look, and especially from a Wigan team that are banged on about promoting the Super League, going to Australia 7 or 8 years ago. We've all gone to Vegas, doing everything they can to promote the sport, and then they do that on the pitch. It's very embarrassing. I think Wayne should be ashamed, or the coaching staff, whoever decided to go down that route.
Pete.
And Pete, my bad. And part of me, only a little part of me, wants them to get done on Saturday because of what they've done, just to have. So he can have egg on his face. Because I don't like it. I do not like it.
Yeah, well, let's. I know we've spoke a lot about Wigan and the integrity of the sport, but let's just move it on to Rovers for a second, because we was on a hard into nothing. Like, damned if we do, damned if we don't. If we win by 10 points, oh, it's only the academy, you should have put more on them. You win by 60, oh, you was only playing against kids, you should be doing that. And then if we lost, worst case scenario, it's like, oh shit, you lost to an academy side. So
we couldn't do anything.
It was damned if we did, damned if we didn't, really.
The atmosphere was flat. How can you chant? How can you celebrate
you could
that?
tell it was flat.
I know Mikey Lewis scored 3 tries in 18 minutes against essentially kids. I get that completely. What's he supposed to do? Not put the ball down?
Did the players even, like, when he gets an hat-trick in that situation, did he even celebrate it?
As much as they do, I mean, and this is, I don't mean to dig at you guys, but we don't celebrate our tries as much as you celebrate a good tackle or a knock-on. Like, that is your thing this year of really rushing in and, you know, making a lot of noise about it. They did it to an extent of, like, good work, well done, we're up there.
Like high fives and...
We are so business first as a team. Like, the moment we do score, we've got the assistant coaches running on and the messages coming across for, right, this looked good there, that looked bad there, keep attacking that side, and a couple of high fives and well done and rub of the head and back to business. We are all about what's up next?
In the big games, I think that's not quite right. In the big games, you are very celebratory in everything you do. And this should have been one of them big games, but this was like you was playing a Salford from last year, an Hull from 2024. It was, all right, we scored, come on, let's get back in the huddle, let's have our breathing exercises that we do in the middle of have a reset, go again. And it was just...
Even in the crowd, like, when we scored, it was like, yay! And then that was it, like, there wasn't any sort of, it was just what it was.
How hard is it to talk about? The other thing I've...
It really is, isn't
for
it?
me, I'll pass back to you, I'll finish up my last couple of comments, but we now end up on 16 points, which is like pretty much tied second in the league, however you want to look at it, points difference changing, with a game in hand. So the only team that's actually doing better, obviously I know Leeds are better, they're on 18, they're up there, but they've had another game. Warrington have 16 as well, but also have the game in hand. Have 18, but have the game in hand. We're right up there now. We're going to have just thrown that away because the season's really tight and it feels like a season where the points difference will matter. So it feels true. But what I got annoyed about with it was not that my Thursday night wasn't great seeing Rovers win or that I didn't get. It was just a bit flat stood there. You couldn't get a song going because why can you? What really annoyed me about it was I couldn't take anything away for this coming game on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like I can say, look, it's great that Rovers kept the fitness going and kept that momentum going maybe, but I didn't learn anything about Wigan. I'm sure they maybe learned bits about us, but they can't do because we was playing against kids. So the type of breaks we was making, the players we was putting on are going to be different against the first team. It just, the only real thing we got from it, and this is why I had the word pregnant written down because it's on a different line, but we took knocks to Lawton in the ribs. Dino took a hamstring that took him off, and then Jai also took a bit of a groin strain, but also his wife's pregnant and he's due this weekend, so they was unsure if he was playing or not anyways. So they're the three. There's no inside information on this. I know people have commented to me before about stuff, about us knowing stuff. Generally, this is not like that. This is just my own speculation. It's mind games at this point. Peters isn't going to turn around and go, Dino was precautionary, he won't play. He will play. It's not going to happen.
I never believe anything on the build-up to a final. Yeah. No disrespect to either coach, but I don't believe anything that comes out of their mouth regarding injuries or team selection this week, because why would they give it out to the public?
Cheers to that, you took halfway the preview. I had that in my preview. For injuries.
Sorry.
It's what it is.
I had to mention why I got the word pregnant worked in.
That's a very valid point. So, quick roundup then of the Robins. So, the reserves, they played Wigan and ironically lost.
So, your reserves lost to Wigan's under 14s?
Reserves.
Reserves.
So that means,
squad.
wait there, because our under 18s lost to Wigan as well this weekend, so that means we lost to their under 12s, or... What? I don't quite know.
How many kids have Wigan got playing for them?
That's ridiculous,
Well,
isn't it?
34-14. But on a brighter note, the academy turned over Bradford 50 points to 20 after trailing at half time. So, swings and roundabouts on the results this week.
Bragging Rights is proudly sponsored by Comscaf. Hull's own Comscaf have been keeping things safe and steady for over 30 years, providing professional scaffolding services nationwide. If you need a team you can trust for your next project, big or small, head to comscaf.co.uk or give them a call on 01482 782 181.
We got there.
We did
Just.
get there. Yeah,
Just.
yeah. Friday night was, oh God.
Close.
There was,
Quite a horrific accident by the sounds of it.
yeah, there was a don't know what happened.
Well, the players set off. Well, I saw the players coming out of Hull on the team bus at 1:30 as I was coming back into Hull from a job. So they'd left clearly 1 o'clock around that time from wherever they was leaving from. So you'd have thought ample time of getting there. But they didn't get there till they got there in time for normal pre-match, like 6:15. But they was booked to go to a hotel and have a pre-match meal and stretches and things like that. They never got to do that. They had to have a meal from a service station, pre-match meal from a service
Meal
station.
deal, WH Smith.
Something like that.
Get in. That's proper amateur away days,
Yeah,
that, innit?
but
That's class.
sometimes when your hands are tired, that you can't
Just
really
got to do what you got to do. You've got to eat, haven't they?
I mean, it explains the result.
Yeah, that's the reason why. Clearly the reason why.
Because you had a sandwich and not a steak.
Yeah,
But
This is real random on that, but I know we've all played rugby, and like when I was younger in the Yorkshire League, we had some big lads and we had away day trips, but when I played American football, and the coach did have 50 odd players on and there were some big lads, they would clean out service stations. Do you know, like when you go into WH Smith, some of like the lads that we had on like defensive and offensive line, and they would just sweep sandwiches. Like they'd go up to KFC and be like ordering 3 buckets on their own, and everyone like the bus would get on and the bus would be
push into the fridge.
Oh yeah, mate. There was some people that could put away like I've never seen before.
I can imagine it was similar.
So to be fair, we did leave quite late on Friday, and just before 5 o'clock, we got into the ground.
10 minutes before kick-off?
7:57, I think you messaged and said we've literally just sat down.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was 7:57.
We did the fire. Literally, I sat down and the fireworks started going off.
Yeah.
Well, to celebrate.
Celebrating me getting there, yeah.
Yeah. James is here, yay.
Yeah, he made it. His crutches didn't break.
Loads of you got left on the motorway, though, didn't you?
I didn't.
Well, I'm just looking at the screen.
Like
it just looks like your normal 300-400 fans that get free travel. Didn't turn up.
I knew that was coming because he said it in the group chat.
He did say it in the group chat. But I'm not even getting into it.
No, there was all at City on Saturday, wasn't there? Yeah, sorry. Because in any kind of weather only means actually only when we've got nothing to celebrate, so we aren't going to go. We expect to lose, so we're not going to travel. It's the furthest away ground we aren't going to. And also, Hull City.
It's not the furthest away ground.
It is. In terms of miles on the motorway, Leigh is the furthest away.
In the UK.
It's not as far as Warrington, surely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's further than Warrington.
If you look at it on a map, it doesn't look like it. But in terms of actual miles on the road, it is.
I mean, they told me I was believing.
Tonight on the Bragging Rights Geography Pod.
Yeah. Whatever the way following was anyway, you've just thrown me right off what I was going to say now. Yeah, whatever it was, I was there, so I don't give a shit how many are out there. So.
Hey. Do you know why I mention it?
We was there.
Do you know why I mention it again? All banter aside, we've had only maybe a couple of games this year where I've been perhaps disappointed in Rovers following.
One was Leigh last week.
One of them. Oh, right, okay. What I was going to say, Toulouse away in particular, the way the Toulouse game was sandwiched in with everything we had going on, and we were saying like his excuses go like people have been to Vegas, had the World Cup challenge, expensive and so on.
And Catalan.
Then Catalan came around the corner, and we sort of didn't have what we normally get. You have been so good for so long in these sort of bad times at travelling well, despite free travel or subsidised travel and all that rubbish, right, farm. It was the first time I've probably looked at a Hull away game in, I'd say, the last 18 months.
I'd say the
and
same.
It's been instantly noticeable and gone, Jesus Christ, where is everyone?
Yeah.
So, like, for me, we did Friday night and we did Saturday at Wembley. There will be some fans that are thinking, I've paid a fortune for Wembley and we're going to play a load of kids, we're not playing well. There will be a group of fans, even your most loyal, you'll seep into that when you think about cost, time. Like, we didn't get home until, 12:30, and then we were in the car to go to Wembley.
So I was talking to a guy at Wembley.
So
I was talking to 2 guys at Wembley. One was a member who works for Hull FC, and he got in at 1:30 from the game, and he was up and out the house at 6 a.m. to go to. But he worked, so it was his job. He had to go. He had to do that. But I was talking to another Hull fan. I went, "Oh, did you go yesterday?" He went, "Nah." I said, "We're leaving too early for this." But
it is what it is. Like, I mean, you could say the same about Hull City. The City didn't sell out. There were about 5,000 seats left, and a lot of that will be down to the fact that there'll be a load of City fans who are also Rovers fans that are spent up for the week after. It is what it is. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying, I like it, but at the end of the day, you can't force people to
let's
pay
not
out
fixate on
more.
it. My point being it was so noticeable. It's the first time I would genuinely say Oddsall was different. Oddsall's so spread out, you can't even count them.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a couple of thousand Hull fans there, but yeah, like you said, you can't really tell it's that spread
Speaking
out.
of being right, Warrington 111 miles, Leigh 106. Stadium to stadium.
I know, you come up with this fact.
Oh, I don't normally drive from the stadium, so I normally do it from my house.
It's still the same distance, won't it?
Would it?
Yeah, of course
Oh,
it would.
yeah, it would, yeah, it would.
Oh, then all fans have got no excuse. It's close. It's around the corner, isn't it, basically?
Basically, yeah.
That 5 miles.
Oh well.
On to the game, unfortunately. 16 players missing. Yeah. Apparently around £1 million worth of talent sat in the stand. That's the quote I had.
Noted that.
Talent is a loose word to throw around.
Got in there
And I'm
before
an old
Josh.
fan, yeah.
It was a game we we knew we'd be losing it. It was, you just know. Like Wigan fans went to your place on Thursday, they knew they wasn't winning that. But for totally different reasons, we knew we'd be losing that game on Friday. But I can't fault the young lads. They give absolutely everything. Yes, there was errors. Yes, some of them looked out of place at times. But they fronted up as best as they could. And I'd rather see that from them young lads than certain players that wasn't picked on Friday or dropped or unfit or whatever.
Watching Leeds.
I would rather see that from them young lads than them half-assed performances that we've been getting used to for the last few weeks.
Who do you blame? Blame Arthur for what?
12-point swing in that moment. He passes that ball wide, you've got an overlap. You've got numbers out wide.
Don't make a difference.
That
Leigh
game,
went-
we was
It makes a difference to the final result in terms of we'd have had more points on the board, but we'd have still lost.
I must admit,
Because they
that's
wouldn't have
one of the
scored that
things.
try.
That is one of the things I've noted in terms of. I keep asking you, why does Arthur run it straight? Does he not understand it? Does he panic when he's got the ball in hand? In that moment, you could have had a try. Now, you don't know it would have changed that game, right? It might have done nothing other than get another 4 points so you missed the kick. But he's put in there, and the whole conversation was they've dropped Caesar, let's see if Caesar's the problem. Arthur's got players to his left, a massive overlap, and he thinks, he either thinks glory,
I can go through the middle of three.
or he just doesn't think because he keeps doing it.
So I am more. My patience is wearing with him. Now, I've said for all season, I'm willing to give the guy a chance. And so many reasons why. Young kid coming over from Australia. Just you've got to give these guys a chance. My patience is slowly. It's getting thinner and thinner and thinner now. He's a couple of good things on Friday. Early on, he was controlling it. Yeah, then he went off for his HIA. Come back on. We seemed all right in that first half. His kicking game was okay. Nice kick up for when Kemp's try got disallowed from the foul in the air. But a real nice kick. He looked to be controlling things as best as he could. Second half started well. It was his pass that sent Barron down the wing, I believe. And then it comes back inside. And instead of shipping it back to the left, he gets a rush of blood to his head, goes down, knocks on. Then they score down a minute or two later. And that, yes, it did swing the game at that point. I do not think, and I'll back myself 100% on this. It would not have made a difference on the result. We had too much inexperience in that team to be able to see a tight game out. That's my belief.
I mean, Hanley had us bent over on his edge, didn't he? Like just the.
Yeah, he had a field day, didn't he?
Yeah,
him
did.
and Charnley were just.
There was two
we didn't
commentary.
help ourselves,
No.
and especially when you've got one of your senior pros like Arthur. Yes, he's a young kid, but when he was a senior pro in that team, and he wants to lead the team by all accounts. He's got to do better. He has to be doing better than that.
Andy Lass was fuming.
He was fuming,
and
yeah, he was fuming.
So when you say about Hanley having, he was running wild. There was two big commentary mishaps of the night. Start of the game, Jenna talking about fullback Davy Litton, who's appeared at fullback for 11 consecutive games. Like, what are you talking about?
Do your own way.
Do your own way
Yeah.
there. Like, I defend
We
her
can
quite
get
a
away
bit.
with that.
I defend her quite a
not
bit
our
because she
job.
gets unnecessary flack sometimes.
This is
I
not
think.
our job. That's their
Yeah.
job. They shouldn't be cocking up
And
on little
then
things
the
like
second one, which is a bit more of an opinion, was this was like 76 minutes. They should really have had like nearly 60 points on the board because they missed so many
Yeah,
kicks. And it was, Briscoe really he's had a really good night, to be fair. And he had a good night. I'm like, no, he's like 5 tries in past him. He's let Charnley get 2 on him. He's let Hanley get 2 on him. He's been turned around inside out so many times. Not all his fault.
No.
Team around him that falls
The team
up.
around him, the young kids around him, he has to compensate for that.
These are
But
professional sportsmen. This is a man who's been playing this league for like 15 years and has had his highs. When he's having a bad game, I'm not saying slag the guy off on scrum, but don't lie and say he's had a good game under pressure.
No.
He was poor.
The last 2 weeks, Briscoe. I think Briscoe's been brilliant for us, especially since he's come back. He's looked youthful. He's come into the team and done a job when he's not been at centre. But the last 2 games, and I don't want to sound disrespectful because he's brilliant. Is Tom Briscoe? He's looked his age a little bit.
It looked way off the pace.
It looks like he has lost that half a yard of pace and the ability to play up to keep up. Yeah.
In a similar regards to Ryan Hall.
And yeah, he's
Same
looked
principle, isn't it?
the last few weeks with him
It happens
actually.
to everyone eventually, doesn't it?
Was
Like,
it the
unless you're
Wigan
LeBron.
game?
Yes.
The Wigan game, he looks real leggy and looked his age, which I don't want to sound disrespectful because these are great servants to Rugby League. But, yeah. We mentioned Hanley then. The young centre who he was up against was Ben Johnson. That kid had I won't say torrid. He had a very challenging evening. He didn't help himself going high a couple of times, but he didn't take a backward step, that young kid.
Baptism of fire.
Put
Yeah,
some
definitely.
shots, like not like shots, but his contact in the when you look at a kid that what is he 17, 18?
Yeah.
Like you would forgive him for being a bit like sheepish,
Cautious.
but nah, he went into every tackle as hard as he could.
All
Didn't
your
take a
young
backward
lads
step.
deserve all the credit for that because Leigh are one of the more, if not the most physical team in the Super League. And at half-time, Lamb was very disappointed in his side, and the message he gave to them was, go out there and be physical. Go and hit them. And they did come out, and it really blew you away, hence the scoreline. But your lads didn't take a backward step. Yes, it looked boys versus men.
It did at times, yeah.
But it's going to win.
It was.
It was, but they did stand up to it, and I will give them credit for that.
But speaking of shots, my favourite moment of the game, when Logan Moy put AJ Towse into Roshead.
Yes.
Absolutely
Phenomenal
levelled
shot.
him.
Phenomenal tackle.
All right, yes, he had momentum on his side, but he's done
His
everything.
mum and dad was
knows.
sat behind us, Phil and
Vicky.
and I just had a little glance of it. He had a big smile on his face.
Big stand with a big grin on his face.
He did, yeah.
No matter who does it, I'd
but
love to see
just
that
on
sort
Ben
of stuff.
Johnson, I remember Kerr Keeman's debut back for Hull FC. Played St Helens at the Boulevard.
God, you're old.
He had
Your name
a
Ian?
torrid afternoon that day. Absolutely torrid. He got torn to shreds against that St Helens team. It only made him better. So it's not
We're
all
one of the best sides we've ever
it's
seen.
not all
that
doom and
St.
gloom for Ben. This is a baptism of fire, I think you've just called it. I think this kid will be all right. There's definitely a player in him. But there's another one, obviously, Hutchison and the Kent boys did well. We know what we're going to get from them. I think they're prospects for the future. But a kid who I haven't really seen before, Lennon Clark. I like the look of that guy. He seems like an angry little bugger. And he reminds me, his running style and he's just the way he is, a bit like Dean Hadley.
I said that as well. The way that he like goes into the tackle, it's like that stature. You know, like if you know, like when you buy a pair of Jordans, you've got that silhouette of the way that Jordan jumps in that way. If you've got a silhouette of Hadley entering a tackle.
You said you want a pair of Hadley trainers?
I want some, no. In a couple of years, I want some Clark trainers. But there's probably you probably can't call them that. But if you've got a silhouette of the way that Dean Hadley goes into a tackle, Clark's would be practically identical. And I watched him make a tackle. I was like, "Fucking, I thought that was Dean Hadley then for a second." And he does, and he hits hard. And he connects well.
I don't want to talk about Caesar.
No,
if he don't want to be at that game, or he's been told not to be at that game, and he's gone to the Leeds game, that's it.
Yeah, we've all seen the photos of him being at the Leeds game.
Don't want to talk about
I want to
it.
ask you a question on Marlow though.
I wanted to ask you this. I've not seen the interview. I've read it. I've got it here.
Yeah, I've read the old Daily Mail bit.
Oh, well,
What
first of all,
come across wrong to you?
Well, first of all, let me tell you why Leigh truly is the great Sean F. Because at one point the camera panned to show you some of the people in the stand. And what was you going to talk about? I'm not about Andy Last spitting his dummy out. I don't care about that.
All right.
I'm sure about a man with a pint of Guinness in a glass pint. And I thought, I'm going to Leigh every week. If I can get my Guinness in a glass pint at a sporting event, consider me signed
I
up.
thought he was going to talk about Marley on the screen because I've just mentioned Marley.
Marley's interview, he didn't come across PR trained. John Wilkin tried to trip him up a couple of times, in my opinion, the way he was trying to push the narrative, which is fine. It's sport journalism, basically what he does. Myler, I think, he came across a bit, in my opinion, like he felt he had to be in front of there to say his piece, but wasn't ready for some of the tough questions. He was asked a question about what's it like losing to the 3 promoted clubs. Skipped it and didn't answer it.
Right.
Like, that's your right, but don't then put yourself in front of the camera. These questions will come. The one that got me though, and the reason why
I just think that in that moment, from a professional, like, you know, interviewing the CEO of a club, I also think that's a proper dickish question.
the conversation was entirely about Hull FC and not where they are supposed to be. The results on the field this year so far have been disappointing, and the team isn't gelling with all the injuries that are there. It's meant to
But
be.
was it Wilkin that asked it?
Yes.
Yeah, and he would have put that across from a Rovers perspective of, yeah, but how does it feel to lose to the free promoted team?
You don't know because you haven't watched it. What I'm saying is,
But that's
Richie
how I feel
Marler,
like.
he's not PR trained, didn't come across PR trained, didn't answer some of the questions. But the one that got me, that didn't come across professional, when it started getting a bit edgy and the questions felt a bit on the edge, he turned around and went, yeah, well, the club would have been bust. The club was going bust when we took over.
I am sick of hearing that, by
I'm
the way.
sick of reading that.
Don't know if that's true.
It is true.
Don't care if it's true or not. What I'm saying is, you've got 10 minutes. Yes, you're having a tough season, but you took this job on, you wanted this. You're the one with no experience. You're the one who's been gifted this because of who you've married. That's the truth of it. This is a nepo hire at the end of the day. So you've now got to take the rough with the smooth. That is somebody bottling it in the middle and going, oh, well, and trying to throw stuff out. You didn't buy the club out, your father-in-law did. You've got a job to do to win people over and prove it. But that is not something you say in a professional environment on Sky Sports in front of people that would have gone bust. That isn't. You didn't do anything there.
From an old fan's perspective, thank you very much for the new owners for buying us out for the whatever you very small amount that they paid for the club and for clearing all the debt. Thank you very much for doing that. That was 2 years ago. You can't live your life on that. You can't dine out on that. Like, I'm an old fan. I'm fed up of hearing it. I don't want the board, anyone at the club, using that as a reason and an excuse for where we are now, nearly 2 years later. You've passed that now. Move on.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's the problem.
I
When
like
it
the
comes
fact
across
I will always be grateful for what they did, in the same way that I'll always be grateful for what Pearson did when he took over and what he did whilst he owned the club, and now what Fairkill and Hood are doing with Marler, now that they've bought the club, saved us again. I'm grateful. But it was 2 years ago, so get past it.
I do like some of the things that I've read about the recruitment. He claims we've got a clear path where we want to go, the training facilities, what he spoke about, and the decision not to go to Las Vegas. But it was all in agreement with that. It wasn't the right time.
I'm very annoyed though because West Tigers are going, and I really wanted to go watch both my teams in Vegas at the same time.
But yeah, so happy with some of it, not happy with some of it as well. Just before we finish though, not a great week for any of the teams for Hull FC. As I mentioned earlier on, the under-18s went down to Wigan 24-16, the reserves went down to Leigh 52-30, but the reserves pretty much played as the first team on Friday. And the women went down to Cardiff 42-4. So as usual, we need to say a big thank you to our host and home of the pod, Tribal. We show a whole host of sport throughout the week, including every Super League game and no doubt the Challenge Cup final this weekend. So if you are going down to the Big Smoke this week, get yourself down in here and watch the game. And so, but keep an eye out on their socials for any up and coming events. And remember, FC and Rovers pass holders can get 15% all food and drink orders.
Nice. News.
Worldwide. Changed it this week.
Mr. Worldwide.
That's it. Prestige worldwide. News worldwide.
It's proper worldwide news this
Let's
week.
try and get this done in 5 minutes then, gang. Let's have some Rugby League news, what's happening. Bit of a strange week, really, with the bank holiday and stuff that's gone on. There was like things announced that sort of probably everyone knows about now, and then we haven't heard that much today with being a bank holiday Monday, so there is still a lot going on there. So Robbie Mulhern finally announced departing Leigh at the end of the year, has signed for Cass. They really are rebuilding big for next year, Castleford. We'll be wrong because we all said Leigh would be top of the league this year, and look how they've gone on so far, but they're starting to come back now. But let's see how Cass got on next year. But that's another great signing, I think, and it's good to see it confirmed, because at the minute, I don't know about you guys, I'm sick of seeing confirmed signings that are actually confirmed, and it just seems to fly around. There's loads at the minute, so but this one seems
I'm
to be.
hearing loads about like players leaving us and
Yeah.
Well, I could
Nothing
have sworn
seems.
Jack Brown's was immediate to...
that's what I read.
I don't know where... Yeah,
I
don't
read
know
it
where
was
I'd seen
immediate,
that.
and then
I mean, at the end of our game, it was being paraded in front of the East Stand by
Dean Hadley.
Dean Hadley to like, it's as if he's been leaving after this weekend. Yeah, so this is confirmed the Mulhern's cast next year. NRL icon Brad Fittler has come under fire. You seen this one?
No.
Well,
Blues legend.
Blues legend indeed. Whilst commentating on a North Queensland versus Rabbitohs game, he was speaking about the player Tom Chester, who bombed a certain try, and he said, "Oh no, there goes Chester the molester." and this has not gone down
Just
well.
to confirm, they're not our words. Don't be complaining about us.
No, that is Brad, that is Fittler. You know, Australia, New South Wales legend, now a very well-known commentator, probably one of the stars of the
Very
game.
well respected commentator.
Yeah,
and past
Not
player.
anymore.
No.
It has been met with complaints.
He said that live in commentary.
He certainly did during the North Queensland and Rabbitohs game.
That reminds me of what's his face who used to the football commentators, like just saying daft stuff like that. Was it Andy Gray? When they got booted off Sky Sports like the next
Yeah,
day.
Richard Keys.
That's it, Richard
Yeah.
Keys and Andy Gray. Yeah.
Andy Gray.
So yeah, bit of a mad one there. So we'll see if anything happens there.
Wow.
Vegas has been confirmed. We didn't know last week when it was back and forth, but it's 100% confirmed now that it will be Leigh versus Bradford there next year. Saints and FC both coming forward with very valid reasons why they're not going. And Derek Beaumont also giving, make your own man up if it's a valid opinion of why he's done a full 180 and said.
Derek Beaumont's an idiot.
I did
This
like
is
the
why I
video
didn't
that
want to
Lee
go. This
released.
is why I'm
It was
going.
it was on Beaumont's own
Was it?
Instagram.
I did like that video, yeah,
You
that you
seen what
showed
he
me.
said?
No.
Lauren sent me it earlier, and basically they're going to stop off in New York and have a massive party. Then when they get to Vegas, it's going to be all business until afterwards.
What does he think he is? What sort of an
I'll
idiot
send you- I'll
thinks
send
that
you the
any
thing later
player's
on.
gonna like get to
fact.
Vegas and be all business? Like,
In fact, I'll read it to you right now.
Quickly.
we got time.
It's literally short when I find it. There it is. Right, okay, so we work hard and we play harder. When we do our warm weather camp, we have a break within it where we go and do things right. So I'm assuming it means go out on the lash. It's Vegas plans in square brackets, already been booked. We'll go via New York and the lads will have a party on the first night in New York. Everyone will be keen to have fun. When we land in Vegas, we'll be ultra professional, but it'll be a party after. Believe me, when the rugby and talking is done on the pitch, the players will do their talking and creative fun with me after it. After it that night and the day after, I will make it something different than any team has done from a player point of view and a fan point of view. What a... Not allowed to
Dickhead.
swear.
You can say dickhead because he can be dickhead of the week again.
Again,
Let's move on.
get him his own car made.
Everyone will have probably seen by now, obviously Catalan did announce John Cartwright has now gone there to be their coach. Picked up his first win over the weekend as well for them. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. It'll be also interesting to see if any players, particularly from Hull, follow him over there.
Hopefully one.
2, 3, 4.
Right, Brodie Croft has now announced, it was rumoured heavily last week, we know enough certain he's signed a 3-year deal with Warrington Wolves from next year, so Leeds will be looking to replace him. By all accounts, it looks like Wire really came in with the best offer and the biggest money for a man who is over here from Alton, trying to see what he can do.
Even more reason to wait. Stand for Warrington.
And then,
I think another part of that was the fact that his family live northwest, and he didn't move them because he didn't want his kids to have to move school, so they stayed over there, and he wants to move back and spend more time with his
he
family.
was seen as quoted saying that I would play for Warrington, but I couldn't play for Leigh because that's the furthest away game for me to get to.
Warrington's just around the corner, innit?
Final one, probably the biggest news out the week, only broke today when Australia woke up, but NRL CEO Andrew Abdo has stepped down from his role.
He's stepping down.
He's stepping down and will immediately become the CEO of the tennis organisation over there in Australia. This is major. This guy's the one spearheading the entire handover of what's going on with. Are they taking over the Super League? Are we partnering with them? How do the conversations keep going that are happening right now? Do they break down? What does his succession plan look like? We don't know. There's a million articles that was released this morning and it is breaking news, so we'll have to wait and see. But it's quite major given what's been happening in terms of the NRL and Super League talks of the past few months.
My understanding is that he will still be there until mid-July. That's what I've read.
Jimmy, have you ever handed your notice in anywhere?
I tend to leave under a cloud now.
Yeah, okay. I don't know about you, but people don't
I
tend
can't go into any more detail.
people don't tend to be giving 100% when they know they're going on to something else. Yes, it's a big job. Yes, the CEO of something. His attention will be on doing the best job as possible in his new role that no doubt they're throwing millions of dollars at him to do. It leaves me with a big concern. Not only, look, not dogging on the guy, maybe we'll do a great handover, maybe we'll do it in the right way. It's who's going to take his place and what does this mean for the Super League talks, because
I think
when
there's enough-
businesses can smell blood, which they will do, like sharks in the water now, they'll attack. And if we're halfway through a negotiation, we can end up getting the raw end of a deal if the right people out there are arguing for our corner. And by all accounts, it seems like he was quite fair.
But there's Vlandis as well, and I know that he's not necessarily involved in the negotiation side of it in the same respect that Abdo was, but there's enough people at the top end of Aussie Rugby League that want this to happen. I still think it will happen. But yeah, I do agree, it might look a little bit different, but hopefully still be a good deal for us.
Let's find out.
We'll see.
That's it from news.
Was it Derek that came? This is why I think that I was thinking about Derek being dickhead of the week. Was it Derek that came out this week and said, "I don't care about anything other than Leigh, as long as Leigh are like successful"? I thought you read it or you sent me something, but it was like something like I'm not bothered about this. People coming in and helping us, like, or whatever, as long as my club are successful, like, I don't care about the rest of Rugby League. And I'm just like, what?
Without the rest of Rugby League, he won't have a club because they'll have nobody to play against.
Yeah,
it's very narrow-minded.
It's such a more.
I'm pretty sure there was something on Love Rugby League's Facebook where it was on there. I'm not going to look for it now.
What's that, like a news website?
Yeah, it's really good actually. It's probably my favourite.
Oh really? I'm going to have to look it up. That was news. I said 5 minutes. We're moving on.
Comments section, back after a week off.
After that malarkey last week.
Yeah, that took us to about a 3-hour episode last week.
I enjoyed it.
It wasn't bad, was it?
Took ages to upload.
So, first question is off Omad Hindley. Apparently it is anyway.
When did he resurface?
I don't know.
Went off for milk about 15 years ago.
Did he?
Surprised he's not Ben in this weather.
So earlier in the season I asked if
crispy.
the pod could have a regular update on the club's loan players and their progression. It was received with some enthusiasm. Okay.
Yeah, I knew
just
nothing about this
So
either.
I knew not about it. So is it time for an update? We might have talked about it, but we talk about that much. Yeah. So, any players you would like to discuss from your team out on loan? I know we've got one that we want to discuss. But
One that we care about.
I don't want to talk about any one individual player. I just want to mention that I don't like the loaning system this year.
Nope.
Didn't like it when it was announced at the start of the year. I'm nothing if not able to give something a go and see, and eat my words and say I'm wrong, but I don't like it. I don't like the 1 week deals. I don't like the confusion over who can play for who and what's going on. And I also, I understand that loans happen. I mean, I look at you guys with, who did you have at centre from Leeds? Sorry, Newman.
So, I don't agree with this 1-2 week, but I don't like it. I mean, not that I don't agree with it, but it has helped us these last few weeks with the.
It did, but the moment Leeds got their own injury, they wanted him back.
Yeah.
And then I get that's how loans work, so I'm not wrong about that. What I don't like is, first of all, the nature of the 1 week. I think it needs rules. I like the month, like things like that. I also don't like the things that I'm hearing out of some players out on loan. I don't like the conversation interview that Denise Barnforth gave, which basically said that Hull wasn't in touch with him and that he's had an occasional message, but he's basically been told, you're gone, leave you for the year. Well, he's still a Hull FC player. And so for him to be saying in an interview, again, going back to not being PR trained, a couple of texts doesn't help you. You're meant to be getting shaped for the future and come back to your home club.
I don't see why we would be in contact with him though. He's
not
our
your
player.
player.
No, he's not this year. He's gone to York for a year. He's with York.
How are you getting on? Is it okay?
No,
are you being treated all right? How's your progression going on? I watched you last week. I didn't like this. I didn't like that. I did like this.
No.
At the end of the day, he's still an employee of Hull FC.
No.
We should be looking after him.
And Gaz Ellis has been in contact a little bit, so that's where them questions will probably come in. Is it, are you being looked after, this, that and that? But performance-wise and things like that, Hull FC should be having no contact with him because it's not up to him how he's performing. His bosses this year are York. And if Hull FC want to get in contact with anyone, it should be the York coaches speaking about him. Because they're going to ask, why is he not doing this? Why are you not getting him to do this? Or why is he playing like that?
Nah, I disagree. I think the way it was worded, and again, we all take it with a pinch of salt, I didn't like the way he said that the contacts had been very fleeting, text messages, didn't feel there was a lot of involvement and that it was over there. I think that you're talking about a young player who's trying to progress, who's got a chance to come back to his home club. There needs to be more in terms of, yes, you're going to connect with the coaches, yes, you're going to connect with the staff to understand what's going on, but you also need to speak to the individual. You're his employer. He should be coming back to you and he should understand. And also, if I was out on loan, if I was on secondment to somebody else for a period of time, I would want regular updates to know if what I was doing was enough to secure my role for the next year. Because right now, nobody on this planet can understand why Amir Burrows starts for LFC, right? And Dean Barr must be sat there thinking, I'm definitely in that team, but he doesn't know because no one's telling him.
So, on that, I don't understand why Amir Burrows doesn't start. Well, I do understand actually. I don't like the fact he does. Apart from Cust, he's still our second best hooker, and I am including Will Hutchinson at the minute in that, and Deneve Barnforth, because what I've seen from Deneve this year, a guy who still can't defend, a guy who occasionally is okay in defence, but looks incredibly unfit still, and not up to Super League standard. Whereas Amir Burrows got very poor distribution, but can defend. Yes, he's a bit grubby and gives away penalties, but he's still a more rounded Super League player than Deneve Barnforth is. That's how low of a quality our
And I
hookers
would
are
want
this
the
year.
whole FC to be having that conversation with me if I worked for them, to say, you don't look like you're up to match fitness. I've spoken to your coaches. I don't think your tackling's up to it. So if you want to be playing for LFC next year, I need to see that. I don't think that you're actually doing what I want from a Super League hooker. From all accounts, a couple of text messages aren't going to do that.
But
I think he should be having regular, and I'm by regular I'm saying maybe fortnightly, at least monthly, face-to-face meetings with someone like Gaz Ellis.
But if he's doing that and then he goes to York and they go, oh, why are you doing this, Deneve? Well, LFC have rung me up and said I need to be doing this. Why?
It should have been agreed. It should have all been said.
York are paying his wages this year. He's a York Knights player this year.
Yes.
I don't. Maybe I'm wrong because I ain't employed like you, and I've never had this type of conversation with. I don't know. But for me, LFC should have no contact directly with Deneve Barnforth this year.
Nah, I disagree.
Obviously, you all do, but that's my opinion.
And my opinion's right?
No, my opinion. You won't change my opinion on this.
I agree with Josh. Like if Deneve isn't playing well enough, or is doing something, or not doing enough of what we need him to do, he needs to be having regular contact with Hull to say, look, there's a chance you'll get the 9 shirt or 14 shirt next year if you can work on this part of your game. But also from the fact that he is our employee, we need to be having them welfare conversations. Like Josh said, are you being looked after? What's the digs like? What's the coaching situation like? Are you happy? Like from a welfare perspective, are you in a good place?
They don't include me at training. They make me train with the reserves. Then they throw me in the first team. That's why I look like I'm not match fit.
They make me stand at the back of the food queue at dinner.
Regarding wherever he's staying or what like that, that's probably where Gaz Ellis has come into
I
it.
live
With
in
a few
Paul
phone
McShane's
calls.
shed. It's freezing.
With a few phone calls Gaz had had with him, apparently. Don't forget, Ronnie, 3 or 4 months into the season, so if we are in with 1 a month, that's
But
about
he
right.
said texts. It should be in person.
Okay.
Right, I've took us right off this
have.
thing. Tell us what you boys feel about the
That's the only one I care
loaning
about,
system.
because the loan system itself is shit. The other players that we've got out on loan, other than a couple of kids that have done some 1 weeks here and 1 weeks there, which I've not watched. There's Chamberlain, and he said yes, he is part of our squad now, but he's gone at the end of the year anyway.
Yeah, I think he was brought. He was sent out on loan to clear cap space more than anything because they want a future for him at the club. Where Deneve, there is a future for him apparently. So
Cartwright
we'll
said Deneve's gone out on loan because we didn't want to make the same mistake we made with Lytton and let him leave when potentially he's got a bright future. We wanted to give him an opportunity to prove himself in Super League and come back and make that with Hull.
But regarding Barnforth and our hooker situation, I said it. Deneve is no, Amir is probably our second in line. But Hutchinson, I see a more of a prospect in him, and I think he will be one of our top hookers, one of our 1 or 2 hookers over the next few years, because I see a lot of potential in him more than I do in Deneve and Amir. We'll see. But
Would you like to see loan players not be cup tied? Thinking of Leyland, Saints legend, Bill Leyland. We recalled him, and we can argue till cows come home it's because potential was going to play him. But the reality is, we then didn't use him, but he couldn't play for Saints that week because it was Challenge Cup semi-final week.
I don't understand the cup tied thing.
No, I don't. But I don't like that. That comes into the full loan thing. You're allowed to do that because you can only do a 1 or 2 week loan. I think we should go down the more of a footballing route where you're loaned out for long periods of the time, like a full season. Not this 1 or 2. It needs to be gone.
Yeah, you got a transfer window there and a transfer window there.
Yeah.
And you can only swap between teams then
and then. That should be it. They're overcomplicating it. Simplify it. This is why we need teams to have decent reserve grades and bring new players through to use them.
The problem that we've got in Rugby League though is we've got a cap to work with, smaller squads. There'll be a lot of teams that can't do that. So, right, on to the next one. Lisa W1525. It's not Lisa who comments, is it? It's Lisa's husband, Andy, here. He said, great show again, lads. The best Rugby League show bar none, all the best. And then he asked a question. Question for you guys. Since Hull FC undermined the coach and he duly left so early in the season, the rest of 2026 is quintessentially a write-off. Do the Hull FC paying public deserve good faith discounts on the turnstiles next season? No.
A question for the Robin guys. Will Rovers keep the upward trajectory once the coach goes? You can go first.
It's hard saying it because it depends who we get in. You know, there's rumours flying around at the minute. I'm not going to throw any names out there because if you know the rumours are, you know what they are. But it depends who you get in and what their mantra is. Basically, what we need is somebody to come in and take what Tony Smith and Willie Peters have built and run with it. If they can do that, then yeah, we'll continue on that upward trajectory. But it's all ifs and buts. It depends on who comes in, what their mantra is, what they want to do.
That's real fair. I'd recommend not to start throwing out other podcasts, but I would recommend the bench this week with Ian Watson, Rovers assistant coach. He's asked a very similar question about is he interested in the role and what it's like being an assistant under Willie. It's quite good to listen to or to watch on YouTube, but it's real hard because you need to define what upward trajectory is without me stuttering it 3 times there. How can it go any higher for us?
Can't.
We won the treble last year and we've won the World Club Challenge this year so far. So a continued upward trajectory can be we win them all again this year, but it can't really go any higher. Obviously, yes,
we'll win the World Cup.
You would be back to back. So really, as we've said for a long time, we want to be at the top for a long time, which is i.e. a Wigan where you're always in contention. Well, as I said last week, there hasn't been a final that doesn't include either Rovers or Wigan since 2022. So we're firmly starting to cement ourselves there. So I don't think
it's more about keeping standards than an upward trajectory.
I don't actually think that we can go upwards. I think that it's about maintenance and trying to stay at a high level, which means, unfortunately, not finishing top again sometimes, not winning every final we get to, but always thinking that we're a threat, so that come 2029, 2030, the start of a season, the name of the Rovers is in people's mouths, where it's like, yeah, they're always up there, instead of could they do it again.
Yeah.
As for the question about you guys, you give enough away free. Your fans don't deserve to have anything on what your fans deserve is for a club to do more, which is what Richie Marler spoke about in his interview. Looking at the club training, looking at what we can do to bring players in. You get free travel, you give free tickets away to the grounds, you give tickets away to kids and that to come into the parents will come. You have one of the best foods suppliers. Probably the best in Super League, maybe, but it's definitely in the Championship, isn't it? Now potentially to argue in the Premier League because the K-Com's food's
the best
great.
in England at any ground.
But your fans, just because your players out front on the pitch, doesn't mean you deserve subsidised tickets for next year.
No, we don't deserve.
At the end of the day,
subsidised tickets.
It costs money to put a game on. It costs money for stewarding, it costs money for policing, for St John's to turn up with an ambulance and all that sort of stuff. It costs, and them costs go up. And we shouldn't be expecting freebies just because Myler undermined Cartwright, and then, in fairness, Cartwright undermined the club massively in what he did as well. So, does that mean we should get it and make the owners pay more? No, I don't think it should at all.
We just want the club to do better.
It's that almost comes across like some of the old fans that are saying, well, he can afford to build us a new stadium, so why ain't he built us a new stadium? I was like, well, because maybe he didn't want to throw his kids' inheritance down the
That's
pan.
not fair. He was bankrupt when he took over. You need to thank him for that.
Right, 2 more quick ones. Danny Mortimer. Is he Mr. Neutral Switzerland guy on the... Yeah. Just to clarify, I am a black and white. Don't know why it says neutral.
He's just trying to avoid the embarrassment in public.
And then the last...
Just maybe a randomly generated name that he got when he signed up.
Maybe so,
Maybe his
yeah.
name's not even Danny Mortimer.
Colin Cook, the guy you mentioned last week.
Yes.
With his illness. Obviously listens to watches to
with
the
nurses
pod.
in Norway.
Yeah. He commented on the YouTube video and said, "Cheers, fellas. Feeling back to normal now. Home on Friday and ready for Wembley."
Yeah,
So,
I messaged him. Might be in Friday actually, because he said I'm flying back to Manchester tonight. So obviously, once he told me they were flying back, they're not going to clear you to fly if you're not fit to fly. So, and then obviously messaged him about Saturday because be on his coach on Saturday.
Ask him any questions about Scandinavian bed
Scandinavian?
baths. Scandinavian bed baths.
well,
I would do, but I think Michelle's going. So
I think I've got 4 already that I can't get out.
I quite like my body parts where they are.
that's
So
Okay.
No, we're
Love
having
you,
our own
Michelle.
conversation.
You know, we already discussed this in the meeting a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but everyone else has thrown the new rules out the window, so why shouldn't we?
I am. I don't know. Did I
Go on
have a
then.
rule?
No, that's it.
Oh, we done?
Yeah,
Comment
that's
section
what I've
finished.
now, Jake.
It's monthly shout out from Josh.
No, it's.
We said we wasn't.
We said we want.
Oh,
You can if you want. Why don't you have a drink?
I'll have a drink.
We've just advertised it on the screen.
Just a little one. I'm on my push bike out here. I've got to be responsible. So.
If
I
there's
think-
any police officers watching,
Do you want one of this flavour as well, or are they all the same?
No, I only like the toffee one.
I'll make my
That is
apologies
absolutely
now.
Superb.
Yeah, because I think I've done the shout out for it a few times, and apparently I'm not pronouncing it properly, so
Well, what do you call it?
I have no idea.
It's 7 gold.
Like the river,
Like the River 7. Like the number 7.
Yeah.
It's just pronounced and spelled different.
cracking vodka though.
I can testify.
Please drink responsibly.
Craig.
Don't drink and go on a push bike.
Yeah, don't drink and cycle.
Don't drink and rad.
Five and rad.
Oh, no, I genuinely don't think we're allowed to say
Cancelled again.
Cancelled again.
Should we move on?
Yeah.
Should I do a shout out
Yeah,
to
do
our,
it quickly, move on.
I'll go to
Not
KFC
from the
and
shout
get
out,
something.
from
Our monthly shout out and our money this month went to mother and daughter duo Sarah and Leigh Green, who are taking part in the Pretty Muddy challenge, a grueling challenge through some obstacles and a muddy field, and basically just a tough one, just for them to get out. But they're doing it to raise money for cancer research, which is massive. I say this every week. I'll say it for the final time this month, I believe now, before we move into June. But cancer's something that's hit pretty much everybody in some way, and never in a good way. And they just want to put some money back into trying to beat a terrible illness. So Cancer Research gets our money, where we're sponsoring this month. Hopefully any money that you've seen, if you see the barcode on the bottom of the screen throughout the podcast, please donate if you feel free. And yeah, we wish them best of luck when we take part in the Pretty Muddy Challenge. Next month we'll be on to the next challenge. We've got a couple lined up and we've got some really good ones coming in, but we have one every month. We've got the money to give away to help everybody out. So keep firing your ideas in to the podcast, and yeah, you know, we won't get through everyone, but we'll get through as many as we can and get them £50 given away. But good luck to Sarah and Leigh on their Pretty Muddy.
Best of luck.
Right then, Challenge Cup this week,
Is it?
I think. Is it this week? I've had so many drinks, I don't know.
10 minutes to talk about the Challenge Cup, let's do it.
Well,
Well, we have it.
can we retain it? That is the question, innit? You've already alluded to the injuries that we may or may not have. Like Dean says, take it with a pinch of salt. It's Challenge Cup week, it's final week. Just, you're never going to get the whole truth from... I went on numerous websites today looking for information on Wigan.
Yep.
There's nothing. The only thing I found was Sam Esse was no charge on the disciplinary, which I found very, very surprising, given Jackson Hastings got a 2-match ban as well.
The SA Challenge was a strange one. The intent is a bit naughty,
And Andy was round his neck.
but he
as well.
lands on his back.
Yeah.
And
I
I
said
think-
that saved him.
Ignoring some of the drunk fans that were near me that were saying it was worse than...
It was not well.
Yeah.
What,
I have
worse than
seen
Brock Lesnar when he played for all last week?
worse than Aiden's. It looked bad when you first saw it. There was a bit brewing. I think SA was taking out some of his frustrations. There was a couple of big shots that went in. He tried to put a few in. He got hit quite hard by Hiku, bounced off, and then Jez hit him quite hard as well. Yeah. And and he took his frustrations out on Hampshire later on. Probably, I mean, I don't want anyone to get injured, but come on, pick a player that might do something for us in the challenge. Hampshire's not playing on Saturday, is it? Come on, let's have it right. But yeah, we're at a real weird time with it being the bank holiday today. Rugby news is a bit slow coming out anyways. We won't know a lot for a few days. I'll just talk about the way I feel about it. Getting over the line last year, which we've mentioned so many times, which felt so amazing, has left us in...
the back, wasn't it?
It's left me right now calmer than I could have expected. I'm not saying I won't be nervous on Saturday. I'm driving to London, I've got a hotel, I'm staying over. I'm really looking forward to it. I want to do what I did last year where I really soak it up. I only have a couple of drinks to enjoy beforehand and then drink afterwards if I want to. I don't like to be too drunk for the game itself, but the reality is I don't feel nervous, not because I think, it's done and dusted, just because we got over that hurdle last year. When we spoke about, about breaking the dam, Jesus, did we break it last year by winning everything? I just think that actually looking at it, I think it'll be a tight game. I think it'll be the game we should have got on Thursday. I still think we're the better side right now at the two. And I think we know how to play on the big stage now. So it gives me that little bump of confidence that right now is keeping me level-headed to say I'm excited in a nervous way.
If you win on Saturday, I guarantee you two will enjoy this more than you did in last year. Because you'll be able to soak it up a bit more because the nerves will be a little less. You'll be able to appreciate the occasion more, and I remember more. I can only go from my experiences back in 16 and 17. I remember more of 17 because I wasn't just focused on winning. I could just soak up everything before the game, during the game, after the game. So I have a much more clear memory of 17 than I do 16. And I
don't remember either.
And I enjoyed 17 more.
Yeah, that makes sense because, when we went to the grand final in 24 and then we went in 25, lost the first one, but then we won the second one. Yeah, we'd won it, but we were still riding that high from winning the Challenge Cup. That I was like that. I was able to take in the grand final, even though I'd had a bit of a drink and I was a little bit worse for wear. I didn't have my child with me, by the way, on this one.
Stand for everything.
But I was able to sort of say, I don't know if it's because it was sort of comfortable, as we discussed on the pod. After about 60 minutes, it felt really comfortable and was able to sort of soak it up, like you say, Dean.
It was a bit different, that final and the grand final.
Because
it was. The game was sort of done with 10-15 minutes to go.
Yeah, so he was able to do that soaking up and to be able to, high five people around us and just revel in the moment, if that really makes sense. So I'm hoping that I feel different about this Challenge Cup final. This time last year, I was a bag of nerves, going into it. Whereas I've had a couple of pangs every time I've seen maybe a Rovers video on YouTube or comment on Twitter or X or whatever or something like that. But I feel a whole lot calmer, like you just mentioned there, Josh. It just feels so different.
I said to you, Jimmy, specifically, because I did say it to both of you, but I remember me and you having this conversation and you reacting to it in the preview to the grand final last year, and it always comes back to me. I said to you, I just think it's our year. That was last year, obviously, but it just felt that way. And at the grand final, I had this calm of we battled through the Challenge Cup to win. We battled through the adversity to win the league leaders. And the grand final, I just think that I trust in everything the club's done, that we've got Wigan's number. And then the game started and was a bag of nerves for 15 minutes. And then after that, we settled. And it just sort of all came to fruition, and we were so lucky to experience that as a club. I always bang on about, I've even said it tonight, about trying to build long-term success and become one of them clubs. Wigan fans said online, we aren't bothered about losing these 2 points on Thursday night. We'll probably beat you on Saturday, I think we will. And at the end of the day, we aren't bothered because you've only won 3 Challenge Cups and we've won 20. I've seen that comment. That's been living in my head rent-free since I read that on Thursday night. Do you know why? Because that's how you start. That's how a club starts building. That's how we now win our next one, which is this coming Saturday, and that's followed by another grand final.
That's fuel as well, that.
And that's followed by more finals in the next 10, 15 years. Because sport, whilst we saw the time that it just go on a cycle, right, and that is true, but you build dynasties and you build long-term success. And when Willie Peters walks away from this club, you know, we'll have nothing but to just sit down and bow and say thank you very much for everything you've given to us, because he's given us more than anyone else has ever been able to offer us. I just see it as the start of hopefully something really good where for the next 15 to 20 years, we will be like Wigan have been for 15, 20 years. And like Saints were from 2000 to 2020, where there was always in the mix. And for me, that gives me that confidence that I'm not saying we'll win, we might lose it, but it doesn't mean we won't get there next year. My concern right now is other clubs in the Super League that aren't doing that, where they get there for 1 or 2 years and then they drop off. Yeah? And it just, yeah, like I say, fuel in the fire, the way it goes, it's a real mix of emotions that's kind of a mixture of, I've got the nerves, I've got the belief again, but there's also like a confidence is in like, how often can you go into a game like this and genuinely feel as though, if we do everything right, I think we should win, because this year so far, I genuinely think we've been a better team than Wigan.
But you can say that about 3 or 4 teams, to be honest, that have been better than Wigan. Before we wrap up on this, are we having a quick predictions now? Because I know we've got a roundup from predictions, but
Yeah,
we're
we've
on
only
the
got
section.
a roundup, we ain't got a sort of on.
What are you thinking, guys?
I hate predicting games like this because it can go either way.
Well, I've asked, so you've got to...
Do it.
Wigan in these games, I said it before the grand final, and obviously that sort of went by the wayside, but they know how to win these games. Now, we've shown in the past couple of seasons, we also know how to win these games now. We've got that monkey off our back, we can do it. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a high scoring game. It really wouldn't.
I hope so.
Like a 26-20, for example, rather than like an 8-6 or a 32-26, 32-28, you know, something like that. So I'll go with Rovers by 4, but a high scoring game.
So Susan's just signalled across that he's thinking Rovers 14-12 specifically. So he's thinking quite a tight game. I always feel in these finals, Budgie did this at the grand final for us. One try at the end just seems to happen because the game's almost done and it stops that 2-point margin or whatever, and I think it'll be in our favour. I think that it'll be a bit tight and edgy throughout the game, and then towards the end we'll just get that one more, do you know, that sealer on the 75th or 76th minute where you just know the game's done. And for that reason I'm going to say I think Rovers by 8, and I actually think that we'll do it 22-14.
I think it will be done in your favour with about 5-10 minutes to go, and I think maybe Wigan will get like a late consolation sort of try, like they was trying to push for in the grand final when Budgie got his interception. But I think I think Rovers by 7. I think
You don't get the score margin.
I know, I'm used to doing it.
He's trying to get that golden point.
But controversially, Dean Hadley kicks the 1 point.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, it goes without saying.
With a bicycle kick.
I'm going to go with Tom Amon. Back heel drop kick.
29-22. I think you will have...
Amon's not playing. We're playing Hampshire at Prop instead.
I think you'll have like a 13-point lead going into the last 5-10 minutes, and they'll maybe score a consolation try. I think you'll... I just think you'll have it wrapped up.
I was just going to go with a nice simple Rovers by 10. For me, it's so difficult to try and predict high scoring game, low scoring game. Who's going to do this?
Medium scoring game.
Yeah, medium rare, well done. Who knows? I ain't got a clue.
Both of them saying well done.
I do really think that you've got their number. And to be honest, I think with the way that Pete was last week, the way that kind of like that, it feels arrogant to me to say we're going to rest our players so that we're going to win next week. I just feel like it's got an air of arrogance about it. And as much as I hate Rovers, I kind of want you to just do them over now. Because I hate Wigan. I hate Rovers more, but I think their arrogance has really pissed me off, and what they did last week's really pissed me off.
It's because it was a bad look for the sport. It wasn't about Rovers. You'd have been pissed off if it was against Saints or against Leeds.
Yeah. Don't matter who you're playing, I'd want Rovers to beat them now.
You could probably make a clip of me just fanboying over Willie Peters all the time I've been in this podcast, but last week when that happened, and Pete said, I've done it both ways. I've rested players, I've played players, I've seen it. It's my choice. I'm in charge of his club. I take the rough with the smooth. And all his comments were fine, whether you like him or not, you like what he did or not. He made very fair, measured comments like Pete always does, right? It's not very often he's wrong, right? Yes, Peter's called him out before when he said to him, have more respect. Yeah, I wouldn't, when he said to him, what are you crying for? And he went, I've got all respect for you. I wouldn't come and goad you. You know, and Pete then apologised. Again, showed he could be like a proper humble bloke about it. But when Peters was then asked the question, what do you think about Pete doing this? Well, Peters just went, it's got nothing to do with me. I'm focused on my team and my prep for Wembley. And I'm thinking about my team for the rest of the season and what we're doing. He just completely negated it and went, this is business. I don't care what we're going to do in. I put my team out to win tonight's game. I'll put a team out next Saturday to win the Challenge Cup final. And then the following week, I'll put a team out to carry on winning league points. Who's my Pete? That's basically, and I just loved it and I thought, that's the difference right now.
Can I add a little caveat to me saying that I want you to beat them?
Yeah.
I will cheer like hell if they beat you.
Right, come on then, let's get this wrapped up, Craig. It's your time to shine.
Yes, it is. So, a couple of shout-outs. KDC took the wooden spoon this week with 3.83 points.
3.83.
Yeah, so the
it's the way
the way Josh set it up.
Yeah, blame Josh.
Yeah, I blame Josh. Not Super Brew, it's Josh's fault.
I am secret millionaire on Super Brew, but don't tell anyone.
Yeah, something to do with like the bonus points.
How it gets split.
Yeah, how it's split. So he scored 3.83, which isn't a measly wooden spoon score, as we've had.
Did they select every game?
3, I think, out of the 7.
All right.
And ironically, I think he got all 3 of those right.
So they're good at it, they're just lazy.
Just couldn't be bothered, yeah.
Okay.
So KDC, book your ideas up.
That's a true fan. That's like a Leeds fan that's like, well, I don't touch cast games because I don't like them. I don't touch wakey games.
KDC, is that the one that says he's like from Kenya or something?
Zimbabwe. Yeah. Which is Kenneth Costa. There is a D on there, but I didn't have enough space to write it down. So
Diego.
D Costa.
Yeah, just D Costa, yeah. Not Diego.
Come on.
And then Arthur number 1.
Arthur.
Arthur number 1. Wendy Hindley taking the yellow cap. Josh is spitting feathers right now.
I like Wendy.
11 points.
Because Wendy loves
and
me.
Part of that was a Grand Slam, which Josh can never seem to get if he let him down. So, massive well done to Wendy.
Just messaged me and said, I back Cass. Sweet. And then Cass win. I've done well there, haven't I? And then like, the next message on the Sunday was like, I think I'm going to get full house. And when I've seen her today, and she was like, I'm still really pleased with that cast prediction, you know.
On the cast prediction,
that's like
I
Kieran's
was putting my predictions on Subaru Wednesday, Thursday, whenever I did it, and then I double check them before I lock them in. I had Saints to win by 22, but on the app I'd put Cast to win by 22, and I thought, oh no, I've just changed that before I lock it in. Luckily, I just clocked it. I wish I hadn't.
Yeah.
I wish
I don't think anybody, apart from Wendy.
Well, no, well done to my dear old mother, because
there needs to be a forfeit if that happens with one of us. If we read out on the pod that we're going to do this and then we do something different and it works, there needs to be a forfeit.
Mine was a genuine mistake though, and I did correct it. I would not have done it. I would have
I
called
don't
myself
want,
out on it, and I'd have
if
deducted
somebody
a
does
point.
it by accident, they're probably going to end up with an extra point out if it goes the wrong way.
Yeah.
So the only thing to do is that the following week, you guys have to back all to win. Right? And then you definitely won't win the point. But no, well done, mother.
Yeah,
well done,
I'd say
Wendy.
well done, but apparently.
Can we mention your parents next week? Mention my dad and my mum this week.
Well, I don't like your mum because she likes Dean more than she likes me. So.
Hiya, Wendy.
Yeah.
Well, my mum and dad are all fans. My mum don't listen and my dad don't care. So.
Not many people care about Ultimate
My dad
Fair.
doesn't understand what a podcast is. So. My mum listens, though.
She does.
Right then, quick roundup of our positions. Susan.
No.
Huh?
No.
Susan is maintaining his position at the top, or their position, them. 70.5, now scoring 6 points this week. Dean in second place with 66.25, scoring 6.5 this week. Jimmy has leapt above me to 65 points, scoring 6.5. I scored a pitiful 5, taking my total up to 64, so I'm in fourth.
You back all? Must have.
No, I back Leigh, I think. And then Josh on 60 points, scoring 5 points this week. So
60 points.
60 total.
It's tight, isn't it? It's only
10 point gap between top and bottom.
So that could literally flip the other way in a week.
Yeah. And literally there's a 1.5 spread of lowest to highest. Dean scored 6.5, me and Josh scored 5. So it's only 1.5 points, which is one right win and a winning margin.
Yeah, I just had another week where I missed out on the margin by like 1 try. Do you know, I'm in it for the longest time and then one comes in and it'll come. I'm not worried.
Oh, well.
As long as all that the last game.
That Catalan game helped me and him out this week.
Didn't help me,
you questioned, like, you were surprised that we'd gone the Catalan game.
John.
Didn't know they were signing Superstar Cartwright. Didn't know, did I?
Don't worry, Superstar Caesar's coming next, apparently.
Oh, fingers crossed. Swap him for Dodd. Anyway, that's it. I do have one thing just before we go, because I have forgot to mention it. I feel really bad because you put loads of effort in at the League game. Hull fan Liam, I mentioned him on last season's pod. I think he's the guy that stalked me around Asda and cornered me in the cereal aisle. He decided to rock up at Leigh and cornered me there with his kids as well.
He saw us in the stand. He went, I've got to come and see you after time. So he did. He popped over to see us.
Nice.
No, I'm kidding. He didn't follow me. I followed him.
More than Dan and Emma did.
But yeah, thanks very much again for coming and chatting. It's always nice to chat to people. So.
Hope you enjoyed your weekend away with your family, by the way, because he was making a weekend of it in Manchester and then having a weekend away. So,
well, it's the furthest journey, isn't it?
Exactly,
so you might as well make the most
There's
of
no
it.
point in going straight there and back, because it's a long way.
I swear, I genuinely thought Leigh was more mad. Anyway,
I'm not mad that I just took it as gospel when it's over.
So did I.
Thanks very much to Comscaff again for sponsoring the podcast. Thanks very much for Tribal for letting us use this as our home. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe on whatever platform you're using, but especially on YouTube. We're trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers, and don't forget to hype as well. You can do that 3 times in a week. Make sure you just do it on us, because we are desperate.
How many hypes did we end up on? I saw it at 67.
Not a clue.
68 then.
I've had a busy weekend. But yeah, thanks very much. See you next week. See you, bye.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.
See you, bye.